One of the most fascinating things about flat earthers is how often they say things which end up totally destroying their own credibility. They often walk into debates confident and smug, wielding phrases like "do your own research" and "I see too far," and they think they've landed a knockout blow. But here's the thing, these talking points don't just fail, they collapse under basic scrutiny. And in many cases, they accidentally confirm the very globe that they're trying to deny. So today we're breaking down 5 things that flat earthers say that destroy any credibility that they once had. Hello all and welcome along to another video with me, SciManDan. Thank you very much for joining me. Now, as I said in the intro today, we are looking at 5 things that flat earthers say that instantly destroy their credibility. And we're going to start with this one. If the earth is spinning, then why don't we feel it? This one gets rolled out all the time like it's some sort of checkmate. The earth spins at roughly 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. That's fast, sure, but the mistake here is thinking that speed and acceleration are the same thing. They're not. When you're in a car cruising at a constant speed, you don't feel that motion, do you? You feel the bumps, the turns, the sudden braking, of course, but not the constant speed itself. That's because you're moving with the car, just like we're moving with the earth. The earth isn't jerking us around like a tilt-o wheel. It's rotating steadily, and we've evolved as a species within that frame of reference. And it's not just us that's rotating, it's the atmosphere too. That's why you don't get blown off your feet every time you step outside. You're moving with the air mass, the oceans and the crust beneath you. What actually matters for how we experience rotation is not linear speed, it's angular velocity. How much the object rotates in a unit of time. The Earth, of course, completes one rotation in 24 hours. That's an angular velocity of 0.0007 radians per second or 15 degrees per hour. That's incredibly slow. That's like sitting on a giant smooth rotating turntable that goes round once every 24 hours. You ain't feeling that. So saying that we don't feel the spin isn't an argument against a rotating Earth. It's a misunderstanding of how motion works in physics. Moving on then to point number 2, which is water always finds its level. This phrase has been so wildly misunderstood by flat earthers that I almost feel sorry for it. They treat it like some magical law that automatically means a flat Earth. What water finds its own level actually means is that water settles at a point where gravitational forces are balanced. Now on a small scale, your kitchen sink or a swimming pool, sure, the water looks flat. But zoom out on the scale of a planet and level means something different. It means equidistance from the centre of mass. And on a globe, that forms a curved surface. Have you ever heard of geode models? These are measurements of the Earth's gravitational field, showing that the sea level isn't perfectly uniform, it bulges slightly at the equator because of Earth's rotation. That's right, water curves, but not even uniformly. Nature is messy and beautiful like that. And did you know the Panama Canal had to be built with locks because of the Earth's curvature and the sea level differences? If the Earth were flat, you'd expect a straight channel from one ocean to the other. Saying water finds its level is about as useful to the flat Earth argument as saying fire is hot and that proves dragons. You got the words right, but the logic is upside down. Okay, the next thing that flat earthers say that immediately destroys their credibility is there's no curve, I can see too far. This one is all over flat earth YouTube channels. Some guy stands on a beach, whips out his Nikon P1000 and zooms in on the skyline. Look, they say, if the earth has curvature, this should be hidden behind the horizon. But they forget or ignore 3 key things: the elevation of the observer, atmospheric refraction, and partial obstruction. First off, obviously the higher up you are, the further you can see. This is why lighthouses are tall. Secondly, atmospheric refraction can bend light downward, especially over water. That means objects appear higher than they actually are. It's the same phenomenon which makes the sun look slightly above the horizon when it's already actually set. Third, many of these photos or video shots don't actually show the bottom of buildings. They show the tops, the bases are below the horizon. Exactly what you'd expect on a curved surface. And time again with these proofs, flat earthers never get the numbers right. They either don't have the observer height correct, or they don't account for refraction, or they don't have the correct location for the thing they think they're looking at, but actually aren't. And let's be real, if zooming into things actually proved flat Earth, why aren't people zooming into Mount Everest from France? Why does every long distance photo eventually hit some sort of visual wall? The irony, of course, being when they do take these photos and videos, they are showing evidence of the curve. So their whole argument amounts to, I used a zoom lens incorrectly and misunderstood optics. Therefore, centuries of physics are wrong. Right, thing number 4 is up next, and this one is a classic. NASA is lying to us. When all else fails, flat earthers will often sit back on this excuse. They say NASA is fake or evil. They say it's all CGI. And they'll say satellites aren't real. But let's think this through for a second. Firstly, NASA isn't the only space agency. You've got European Space Agency, Roscosmos from Russia, ISRO from India, CNSA from China, JAXA from Japan, and plenty of private companies too like SpaceX and Blue Origin. So are we seriously suggesting that every single one of these space agencies and private companies are faking everything, working together in secret for decades, with no whistleblowers, no evidence leaking out, not one disgruntled ex-employee with a USB stick and a conscience? And also, satellites are real. We use them every day for GPS, satellite TV, weather forecasting, even internet on planes. If satellites weren't real, Google Maps wouldn't work, and your Uber Eats driver would end up in the wrong postcode. And then, what about amateur footage? Thousands of independent weather balloon launches have captured Earth's curvature on camera. Not to mention amateur astronomers who can capture the International Space Station with backyard telescopes. And radio operators who can bounce signals off the moon. What about the fact that thousands of people from different countries watch the same rocket launch at the same time from different angles? But flat earthers dismiss this as fake too. The truth is, NASA is lying is not an argument. It's an escape hatch, a way of avoiding facts that disagree with their worldview. And it's their weakest move of all, to be honest. Apart from maybe this one, which has us rolling our eyes in unison. Point number 5, and the famous saying, I did my own research. This is probably the most frustrating of all. Not because I'm against curiosity, I love curiosity, but because that phrase has become code for, I spent 2 hours watching conspiracy videos and now I think I know more than NASA. Doing your own research is great, if you are actually doing your own research. That means reading peer-reviewed studies, consulting with experts, understanding methodologies, replicating experiments, and analysing data without bias. But that's not what most flat earthers do. They start with the conclusion that Earth is flat, and then go looking for anything that might support that, however flimsy. That's called confirmation bias, not research. They misquote textbooks, misrepresent scientific principles, and cling to 200-year-old experiments that have long been debunked or refuted. For example, the Bedford Level experiment. Flat earthers love that one. But the original experiment was deeply flawed and failed to account for refraction, and were later redone with more accurate methods, and it proved curvature. But flat earthers treat it like gospel. True research is about questioning yourself as much as the world. It's about being open to where the evidence leads, not twisting the evidence to suit your narrative. So when a flat earther says, I did my own research, what they usually mean is, I watched a guy on YouTube who told me what I wanted to hear, and I didn't check to see if any of it was true. And don't get me started on the people who say, I used to laugh at flat earth, so I tried to disprove it, but I couldn't. That's mainly because you don't understand what you were looking at, and your personal incredulity took over and you couldn't believe that these things were true, so you denied them. So there we go, 5 flat earth talking points which immediately destroy their credibility. Thanks so much for watching today. I do hope you appreciated it. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing to the channel for more of the same. We're currently doing daily videos, so make sure you don't miss any of those. And if you really like this one, a big thumbs up would be appreciated too. And let me know in the comments what the worst flat earth argument you've ever heard is. I'm always open to hearing those. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Flat Earth Friday, the original Flat Earth Friday, where we take a look at another Eric Dubay classic. See you then.